Hi, Libra Sun and Rising. Welcome to your December 2024 Astro Update. It's Raina here. So we're going to have 2 new moons in 1 month. And this is called a black moon, the second one. Just like a blue moon is the second full moon in a month, a black moon is the second new moon in a month. And it can actually, the black moon can be a time of especially good manifestation. So yeah, I'll get to that since that's at the end of the month and I like to do things in order. I'll talk about that last. I'm going to start with the first one, which is on the first of the month, and it's at 9 degrees of Sagittarius. Sagittarius falls in the third house for Libra individuals, and this is a friendly angle called a sextile. I'm sorry, there's a lot of, noise from cars at rush hour. It's usually quiet around here. And sometimes I can't pause it in time, so sorry about that. So I feel like both of these new moons are going to, they have the potential to affect your dealings with family members. The one on the first of the month in the third house can deal with siblings. And so there could be some kind of, maybe since this is a new beginning, it could be like a new relationship that you are forming with them or new circumstances. I always try to think about the 8th house, which is the house of inheritances or shared resources, to see if anything is getting triggered that could be causing this. Well, first of all, what we could say too is that this is the holiday season. So, it's very possible that this is one of the only times that you see your siblings. Maybe you live on on opposite ends of the country or what have you. But there is in the 8th house, I'm recording this in the first week of November, there is a full moon mid-November that's going to be in Taurus. And that will be in, if you're listening before then, or even if you're listening after that, is in the 8th house of shared resources, other people's money, and it could bring to light some kind of money that is, maybe it's in the family or a will issue. And there could be, sometimes with these matters, there is a bit of conflict that arises. So, or just the nature of what you are discussing, you're kind of like in a different place dealing with your siblings because of this development. And other things that could be happening is that you're going for a training of any kind. You might hear back from a teaching assignment. If you're a teacher and you're in between jobs, you might get some kind of communication about that. You might start a new writing project. All of those things are possibilities, or a new social media account. On the 6th, Mars goes retrograde at 6 degrees of Leo. Another sextile, but this time from the opposite direction. This is from the 11th house. And Mars in the 11th house. Mars is currently, as I record this in November, Mars is in that 11th house. I call Mars in the 11th house the social justice warrior, And so there may be something that you are, like a cause that you're championing. And when Mars goes retrograde, there may be something that is thwarting it, that is slowing it down, and it is forcing you to go within yourself and maybe even, like I would say, work on yourself. You know, a lot of people are, I think sometimes when people, they adopt a cause, it's almost like it gives them an excuse to kind of express anger, like righteous indignation or something like that. But it could be a substitute for personal issues where you are really pissed off about something. And so it gives an outlet for that. You could call it like a negative emotion, and maybe it's a constructive way to let off steam by picking a cause that you feel passionate about. But it can sometimes obscure what you're really mad about, and you don't really want to do that. You want to be very clear about the things that are, upsetting you so that you can pinpoint it, so that you know exactly how to deal with it. So, this is also the house of hopes and wishes. So if you had some kind of dream that you were just going after and something stopped it, something, stopped you in your tracks, it doesn't mean that it is gone forever. It just might be delayed. And you have to kind of get over this, what we call like frustration about it, about like feeling like you're not progressing, because it's really like showing you that maybe you need to redo something. This can be like networking. This is a house of groups and people like that. And, if you are in a group setting, or like maybe this is your social network, your friendships and stuff, and you have some kind of argument, like when Mars is direct, you might have some kind of conflict within your social circle. And when Mars goes retrograde, it's kind of like you swallowing your anger. And this could be because you don't want to make waves. Well, Libra, that's the story of your life, right? You don't want to make waves. But really, it may be something where you do have to look at yourself and how you have contributed to it. Maybe you were going along to get along and you were being a little bit passive aggressive and somebody called you out on it. And initially you were, pretty indignant that somebody did that. And then you had to fess up and say, you know what? I guess I have been kind of doing this. Why have I been doing this? Well, I feel pretty guilty about asserting myself. I feel really guilty about letting someone down because I said no to them. And maybe you were accommodating friends and you never were able to say the word no, and you finally have found your backbone because you just can't do it anymore. And then they're getting mad at you and you have to accept that. And you have to just go within. Because when people have been taking advantage and you start to like break away from that, yeah, of course they're going to be pissed off. They don't have somebody that's just going to bend over backwards anymore. And, if you observe that, instead of getting freaked out and feeling like somebody doesn't approve of you, oh my God, the world is ending. If you say, oh, this is interesting. Okay, so when I have to practice self-care by not agreeing to every request made to me, and I really want to rest, I really want to just take it easy or do something that's fun for me, and somebody's trying to guilt me because I've always said yes in the past, yeah, I'm going to take notice of that, because obviously that person is completely um, forgetting about all the years that I did say yes. That wasn't good enough for them. Oh well, they're just going to have to get over themselves and not feel guilty about it. The very next day on the 7th, Neptune goes direct at 27 degrees of Pisces. We also have Venus going into Aquarius on the same day. Okay, so with Neptune going direct in Pisces, a late degree of Pisces, Pisces for you, you is the 6th house. This is the house of work and health. Neptune direct can mean that you are becoming, you're going back to a more idealistic attitude that you've been having for how many years? 13 years now with this area of life. Now, an example would be, because Neptune can be spiritual things. I have this in my natal chart, Neptune. Now, as the transit goes through that house, it gives like what we would say a temporary influence related to these issues. And so it could be like doing, or maybe some people are still in the training stage, but doing something spiritual for one's work. And when Neptune is retrograding, there may be some kind of disillusionment. Something isn't going as planned. And, only you can decide whether or not that's just part of the process and you'll get over it and you will see that things are going to be really good, or if it is time to throw in the towel. It can also be something, health-wise that was maybe I'm thinking of the medical medium. If anybody has ever read any of his material, he kind of specializes in mysterious illnesses and is able to kind of pinpoint, the cause of it. So when Neptune is retrograding, maybe there is something that is uncovered that you didn't make that connection. You got a diagnosis finally for it or something along those lines. And now Neptune is direct. Maybe you even thought you couldn't heal. Neptune, I think a lot of times when Neptune is in the house, there's an idealism, sometimes an over-idealism in that area, what the specialty is. So that's why I mentioned the type of work that you're doing, because you might feel very positive about it because you're idealistic, but whether it's realistic is a different story. It might not be as realistic as you would hope for. Also, like especially if it's something that's a bit off the beaten path, like being a psychic or being a healer or being an artist. Yeah, as a Libra ruled by Venus, the artistic side of things might really be what's going on. And then you run up against a roadblock and you want to throw in the towel. It's like, something might be restoring your faith in your plans. On the same day, like I said, Venus is going into Aquarius, and that could mean, because this is going to be the 5th house, this is a trine because it's a fellow air sign, and that could be very good for romantic endeavors, but also for artistic endeavors. So maybe this is, these things are happening on the same day. So there could be something connected with Venus going into that 5th house at the same time that Neptune is going direct in the 6th. You might be having some romantic dalliance with someone. This is not the area of committed partnership. This is the, initial stage of kind of the courtship. On the 15th, we have a full moon at 23 degrees of Gemini. And on the same day, Mercury goes direct at 6 degrees of Sagittarius. That's almost like mutual reception. Maybe not exactly. The reason I say that is because Gemini is going, the full moon is going into the ninth house, or is going to be in the ninth house, and that's Sagittarius's domain. And then Mercury, which is ruled by Gemini, is going into Sagittarius in that third house, which is Gemini's domain. So you've had the Mercury retrograde in the house that Mercury rules in astrology, the third house, and the new moon was there on the 1st. So it may not have been the typical new moon where you're able to get something off the ground. It may still have been a bit delayed because of the Mercury retrograde here. But this area of life should start to see more forward motion rather than things being delayed, held back or what have you. And this has to do with communication itself and social media, things of that nature. You may have heard from somebody from your past, and now you may have to make the decision, do I want to continue to see this person? Maybe that's what that Venus in Aquarius is all about. On the same day, the full moon at 23 Gemini is in your ninth house of the higher self. This is also the house of long distance travel. So maybe you are ending a trip, or you have finally gotten to the stage where you're finished planning for a trip and you're about to take off somewhere. It wouldn't surprise me, being that it is, the holiday season. This is a house of the higher mind, so it can always be about an aha moment, spiritual download with full moons that makes you really see the meaning of life for yourself. And it's interesting that it's on the same day that Mercury goes direct in Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is the ruler of the ninth house, and it deals with those issues, those very issues, your philosophical framework or the bigger picture, the meaning of life. Those are pretty heady topics, but they're very important, the more conscious we become. Some people, their level of consciousness is basically in the survival mode, where they can't think of much more, but just kind of, we might even call them materialistic people, because they're just so concerned about dollars and cents, and it's because they're trying to survive. They're trying to feel safe. But as we, elevate ourselves, we see things in a more philosophical way to begin with, but also when we're viewing our issues in life, we might say, well, that is happening because of emphasis on the wrong things, that I have been devoting too much time on X, Y, or Z. I need to be doing it on something else, because I realize why I'm here and what my purpose is. And I have been kind of in the wrong place, and I want to get to the right place. On the 21st, we have the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere. The sun goes into Capricorn, and the light, this is symbolic of the light returning. And this power period of the sun in a cardinal sign can signal change for all of us, or, change or just events occurring. And then so it ushers in the Capricorn season. And then on the 29th, if you are Pacific time, but the rest of maybe the world will be the 30th, is that black moon that I alluded to earlier, and it's going to be at 9 degrees of Capricorn. This is the house of home and family for you. So it can be a great time to manifest something real estate related. And it can be a great time, or anything that has to do with the home or domestic concerns. I mean, if you, I don't want to just say if you want to become a mother, the fourth house can be the mother. But even for a male, if you want to nurture a child, and maybe the fifth house is supposed to be conceiving children, but I feel like the fourth house is also part of that because, sometimes people, they may have ambivalence about being a parent because they had a crappy childhood and they don't want to relive that through a child and kind of that negative situation. So that might be you resolving that you do want to become a parent and you do want to nurture a child. And when I say nurture, yeah, it is because Cancer is a ruler of this domain in astrology, and it is about taking care of someone. But people have children for different reasons. And this is about just the love of taking care of someone, or about the family structure, wanting to kind of experience that again, this time as a parent. When people say, I want to start a family, that's what they're really implying, that they want to create their own family, just like they had a family growing up. Maybe you are having a different relationship with your mother. Some people say this is the house of the father, or either one of your parents. You're going in a new direction with them. Hopefully a better one, but a new one nonetheless. Okay, Libra. Well, that's what I have for you. I hope that you're looking forward to your December transits. If you would like a private reading with me, you can click on the link below to see what types of services I offer or what type of readings. I have a double reading that is a special price. As a matter of fact, I have 3 package deals, but the one that is the most popular is called my deep dive reading, which is an hour of natal chart analysis and an hour of transits through the end of 2025 for a special price. And if you like the tarot as well, I have that double reading plus a full-length tarot reading called the whole enchilada. And I have career readings, love readings. You can find out more information at the link below. Thanks for listening. Bye.